Hello everyone, Hamas28 here, and today we're back in the world of Seaopolis Submerged. So, as we left off last episode, we finally crafted the amethyst mesh, which will allow us to get new stuff. Lots of new stuff. And to actually get this new stuff, what do we have to sift? We need to sift dust blocks with our new mesh, which is pretty funny considering all of the meshes over here are broken. They all broke. So I need to replace all of them, starting with our dust one, because we're not accruing anything anymore, which is not good. But now you can see our dust mesh, well, now the dust is getting meshed through amethyst, and we're getting all new ores. Now I also need to start filtering out all the flint, mini coal, redstone, lapis, cinnabar, stone pebbles, and nitre outside of this chest, because it's going to start getting pretty full. But I believe, if I take a look at this, it should continue to get... Oh, it doesn't actually. Interesting. So if I want to keep getting cinnabar, I have to use bronze or iron meshes. Huh. Good to know. Good to know. I thought it would just continue getting all the same stuff, but that's not the case. So I'll actually need to set up another one of these guys with a bronze mesh to continue getting these ores. But in the meantime, we can start accruing some gold ore pieces, silver ore pieces, apatite, silicon, and certus quartz. Now for the gold and silver, we are going to have to set up a new crafter to automatically craft it, to put down in our block placer, break it, and then filter out the ores. But then other than that, it's mostly the same. Now we are going to have to let that run for quite a while to actually build up a useful amount, but then we'll be able to move into AE2 and get into mystical agriculture, which should solve most of our resource generation issues, if any, because as you can see, we can start using our infernium seeds to grow other stuff, and we should be able to actually make, yeah, we can make phytogenic insulators now as well to actually grow all of these seeds. Usually you just plant them, but I don't know, do we have like a harvester? Is there a plant harvester? There I don't know why I asked that. Mystical agriculture comes with a harvester, but we're going to use something that's a little, one block efficient. So after adding 2 more crafters, basic inventory hoppers, we're now producing, well, we're supposed to be. Should be like in here. Yep. Oh, I didn't set this to extract, that's why. Extract, there we go. Place it down and make raw gold and silver. Now I did change a couple of these to compacting drawers just to make it a little bit neater, but it is a little bit annoying, so you cannot put the coal pieces, the mini ones, inside of a compacting drawer. It does not register it as being a part of this series of crafts, so it doesn't work. And this is all out. Did I put the rest in here? 10 more amethyst, nice. But now we get our silver, and we should start getting gold next if I swap that around real quick. Yep, there it is. Our gold. Now if we grab silicon, certus, apatite, and bliss powder, we'll finish off those quests as well. So bliss powder, certus, and silicon finishes off all of that. And I was also wrong about the strainer here. With the amethyst mesh, you don't actually need, what's the word that I'm looking for? If you want to get redstone, as you can see, redstone, niter, and cinnabar are still accruing. I misunderstood what it meant. The mesh is the minimum tier mesh needed to actually get the item. So, because amethyst is tier 4 and bronze is tier 3, you still get redstone and all the other stuff. I won't have to make another line. Now, I did see that there was echo shards, but that looks like it comes from infernium blocks. Everything else comes from dust. And now that we have access to silver and gold, we can make electrum in the induction smelter. I did make some more bronze ingots because that's just used a lot, so we mix these two together to make electrum, and then we throw in a bit of copper when it's done to turn it into rose gold. So 2 electrum. Let me grab 1 more copper. Didn't realize you get 2, although that makes perfect sense. And this is a nickel ingot, copper. Throw that in there to make our rose gold, which will let us start working on mystical agriculture. So how much are we going to need? This takes 1 rose gold, and let me move this stuff out of the way now that we don't need it. And the altar itself also takes 1, but for the infusions we are going to need 8. So in total we're going to need 9 rose gold. So we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That'll make 6. Let's just do even 10. And then we'll need 10 of this to make a bit more rose gold. I'm sure we're going to need it for other crafts if we take a look. Ultimate crafting, the ultimate ingot. Okay, comes up there. You can strain it in a netherite or emerald mesh with bedrock to make void ingots. Interesting. But that does seem to be about it. And then we will need rose gold blend to make infernium essence. Interesting. That's an interesting craft to get the first infernium, but then it should be easy enough once we get it done. And then we'll continue down these other sides. I think later on, I really want to work on getting the infernium essence first, because once we get the seeds and we can start growing our resources, it'll make everything so much easier. So now that we have our gold and rose gold, we're also going to need some stone. We have a little bit, should be enough. We can craft our infusion altar and our pedestals. Now we still need 8 of these, so hopefully we have enough here. And just enough, nice. To finish off the quest. Did this say you need 8? No, it probably should have said that you need 8, just so you don't get confused. Now to craft the infernium essence, we're going to need niter crystals, apatite crystals, certus crystals, and rose gold blend. And we're going to need 2 rose gold blend, which we're going to have to make in the pulverizer. And then the other stuff is going to have to get grown in the crystallizer. Pulverizer goes in there. This guy, infernium essence, fusion. So we need 4 niter. Where's my niter? I think it's all in the logistics system. So we're going to need 4 niter. Probably should have bookmarked this. 4 niter, 2 apatite, 1 certus. Where's the apatite? Oh, there it is. 2 apatite and 1 certus. In the crystallizer, which is really, really slow. Let's see. Now that I have rose gold, can I make these speed upgrades? Speed... No, what's it called? Upgrade? Gotcha, okay. So we can actually craft these now that we have access to Electrum. Base power 100%, process energy 10%, increases speed but reduces RF efficiency. So to make this go a little bit faster, that's going to be really useful. So let me go ahead and craft those while we're here. We are going to need a bit more of this. We don't have a lot of gold left over. So I think I'll just use the rest of the gold to do this for now, just so we can get the speed upgrades going. Should make things run a little bit smoother. Grab the apatite and then throw in our niter dust, because this is probably like our biggest bottleneck, is the crystallizer is just so slow. Grab this, grab that, and to make electrum plates, we just throw it into the multi-servo press without the gear working die. And now that it's finally crafted, let's throw this guy in there, and we should see that this is now using 10 RF per tick. How much faster is that? Twice as fast. What does that mean? Oh, okay, I understand it. So base power is how much more power it's going to use, and process energy is the detriment. So the machine can now use 10 RF per tick, but if you remember from the recipe here, instead of using, where was the one I'm looking at, this one, instead of using 5000 RF per tick, it's now going to use 10% more, which is why the efficiency drops here. So it does stuff faster, but you lose efficiency. But now that it's all done, we can place down our infusion pedestal, altar, and craft our first piece of infernium essence. And I think I'll put it in this room over here, and then later we'll connect it through automation somehow. And I love how this mod always lets you know where to place the altars. And I do think you need like a button or a lever. Does it have to get pressed every time? I do forget that one. So let me grab a lever, because I don't remember if it has to be this one, that one, niter, apatite. I don't remember if it has to be pulse or you could just leave it on like this. So this guy goes there. And fill out the corners. And it doesn't do anything. Why aren't you working? I thought you just apply... Is there something I'm missing? Requires pedestals. Use with the altar. Made on the altar. Oh, wait. Do I have particles off? Video settings. Close. Quality. Particles. Oh, I think that's why. Particles were minimal. So if I set that to all, we should be able to see it next time. Because I think what happened was the particles were showing, but since I had them on minimal, we didn't actually see it. But now we have our first piece of infernium essence. And with that, we can make infernium seeds and use that to grow more essence. Of course, it's going to take 7 more infernium essence to make the seeds, which means we have to repeat the process 7 more times. Isn't that fun to think of? It was very slow, do it 7 more times. But then, we could just grow it, and the process is done. I really think the only way I could have made this gone faster is if I just made like 15 more crystallizers, so I can run this process in parallel. Because this is excruciatingly slow. Even with 2 amplifiers, it still takes like 15 seconds just for one. And I can't just keep adding amplifiers because the efficiency will drop too much, at which point it's not even going to be, like there's not even going to be savings that I get out of it. You know what I mean? And I can't craft any other upgrade until we get to the nether. If I could make the efficiency upgrades, that would balance it out. But I can't make lumium, because lumium ingots take glowstone, and we don't have any glowstone yet. This is such a weird bottleneck. Okay, so I was right. It was the particles being minimal, which is why we didn't see anything. Good to know that it does work though, and it was just user error. And with a little bit more niter, I'll be able to finish off making the rest of the infernium essence. And with that, we can now make our infernium seeds. Now, if I remember correctly, you can't actually bone meal these guys, but I can plant it on regular soil, from what I remember. Let me grab a seed here. And combine it, like so, to make infernium seeds. And there's no... Oh, there was a quest for that. But now, I should be able to just plant it, like so. And I just want to double check, because I know usually you can't bone meal these guys. But what if that's not the case and I'm misremembering? Well, it's eating the bone meal, but I don't think it's growing any faster. As you can see, like it's staying on 14. Infernium output 100%, but at least we'll now be able to grow infernium pretty easily. Now, the pretty standard way you do it is, I wonder if it's actually, it's probably not in here, but I actually do know it. If we type @mystical, we're supposed to make growth accelerators to make the growth faster, obviously, which will take a gemstone, which will take a diamond. Do I have access to diamonds right now? Now that I think about it? Not yet. So we can't even make that, and that's coming up in the next chapter, as you can see here. Okay, and then it even shows the infernium crystal and prudentium, and then bedrock, the big jump, going to the nether. So the only thing I can do here is wait for this to grow so we can get some more infernium, because we can't really progress in this chapter until we make a block of infernium with 9 infernium essence. And if I have to do this manually, I'm going to lose it. But then luckily, once we have the phytogenetic insulator, we can grow them in here and we can apply upgrades to make this faster. So it's all going to work out in the end. Well, while we wait for this guy to grow, I think it's time to use our Certus crystals to work on some applied energistics. So this is probably going to take quite a lot of Certus, but it's all going to start by making some enriched quartz iron. Now, it kept saying we're going to need some of this to actually progress in refined storage and AE2, and we can also purchase a mysterious cube through the catalog. So let me grab my C-Bucks, put that in here, and look for a mysterious cube. There we go. Only $8 reduce. And place this guy, and then break this guy. We get our calculation presses. Is that all we need? Let's see if we can craft it, make the inscriber. Inscriber actually takes pretty much vanilla stuff. Do I have slime balls? Huh, that's a good question. I don't think I have any slime balls, do I? No. So where am I supposed to get slime balls? Well, it seems like the only way to get jellyfish for slime balls is through fishing. So I went together and crafted our tackle box and made some of the fishing stuff. Threw on our iron fishing rod, and hopefully we can get some jellyfish. As you can see, this is how you're supposed to get like most of the fish from aquaculture, but I'm only interested in the jellyfish. Now, if you've never used aquaculture before, it's really simple. You craft a tackle box, and you can put in worms, and you can put in a fishing rod. You can then apply different hooks, fishing... Oh my goodness, I forgot. I've never slept. That terrified me. I've been so long underwater, I completely forgot that these guys exist. Huh. Alright, bed is done. Let's go to sleep. And get rid of those guys. Man, I completely forgot they even existed, because I've been underwater for so long. That way I can fish and get some jellyfish to start off applied energistics. What are you doing down here, buddy? You're for the sky, not the water. Yeah, he's stuck down there. So I'm just gonna go fishing. Alright, luckily that did not take long at all. Like, how much durability did I even use? Like, I caught 3 grouper, 1 tuna, raw cod, tropical fish, fish bones, and 3 jellyfish. So it worked out pretty well. And now I can finish applied energistics. And even though I spent all that time doing other stuff, I don't even think this guy has grown a single time. Oh, he's fully grown. How do I... Where's my... Do I just break you? Yes. And repeat the process over and over until it's done. But there we go. We are 1/9 of the way there. And I did figure out how to fully automate the... What is this? The bone collection. So I could put my fish in here. And thanks to the helpful comment, where the handle is, the fish push out the other side. So I can automatically collect all the fish bones. So now I just have to cook up some jellyfish into some slime balls. And let's see, I believe I threw in some blizz powder into our crystallizer so I can make the ice and finish off that quest. And why do we need a blast chiller specifically? What is this for? Not quite sure, but I'll craft one anyway. So we're going to need some Invar gears, and Invar was, I already forget, Invar is an alloy of iron and nickel. Throw that in there, and that's going to make 3, so I need to do this a couple more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That should get enough to make the gears. Because we need, each gear takes 4, then I'll need a redstone flux coil, which takes this and redstone, and we'll put it together. Lots of stuff we can work on while we wait for other horizontal progression to finish. Grab this guy, blast chiller, bookmark, grab this, machine frame, we'll take some flex ducts, machine frame in, coil, needs a bit more iron nuggets, and 2 redstone. So now if I throw this in our destabilizer, we can make the blast chiller. Still not quite sure what we need it for, but at least it's pretty quick to craft. Grab our invar, multi-servo press, invar goes in there, take one out. Grab that, and wait, this is a gear, right? Am I making the right thing? Yes. Invar gears, and make the blast chiller. But from looking at the recipes, I'm not sure what we need it for. Maybe we're going to use it to make snowballs. That's the only thing I can think of. And this takes packed ice, which takes a lot more ice. I only have 6. How much do I have in here? 56. Okay, that's good. So we need packed ice, which takes 9. So we need 18, and we have 6. So I just need 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's good to go. And now our slime should be done. And I can make my pistons. Piston, sticky piston. There we go. And save 1 slime ball for later. We'll be able to grow slime balls. And now let's see if we can craft ourselves an AE2 controller. ME controller is going to take an engineering processor, which will take diamonds, which we don't have access to yet. So we're first going to have to make an inscriber. And I keep expecting like a quest thing to pop up. And where should we put this? Most of our production is over there. So I guess we can just put it in this room over here so I have easy access to this. And then we will need to bring power to it through an energy acceptor. Energy acceptor, which will take quartz glass and surge quartz dust, which we should have available to us. Grab all this Certus. We are going to need a lot more glass. Throw that in here and craft our energy acceptor from the quartz glass. And then make some flex ducts. Now, luckily, it does seem like we don't actually have to bother about managing like transfer rates, because it seems like these guys will just transfer unlimited amounts. So we'll just go ahead and push this way, like so, and we'll just bring it into this room. Bring it around here, go this way, go across there, and place the energy acceptor. Then I just need some cabling. And that's not how you spell cable. Cable. We're just going to go with the basic Fluix ME, which will take this guy in a charger. Easy enough to craft. Craft that. And how much do we have? This guy, I'm going to need a crank for this. Crank. That's not how you do it. Crank. To do this manually, and we'll place you here, charger there, crank, you go in there, and crank this manually, so we can make a little bit of Fluix. We just need enough to get the cables installed so we can power the charger. And there we go. Now for the cabling, how much is this going to take? Cable. Fluix ME. We'll take 2. Do we have nether quartz? I didn't even think about that. Quartz. Nether quartz. Quartz dust, and we actually don't. You tricked me. You made me think we were going to get access to AE right now, but that's not the case. But I do think I can craft the non-fluic stuff at this point. So if I tap applied, like I should be able to still craft a item cell. Item storage cell. Yeah, redstone, so we can craft cells. And what is the name of the disk drive? I always forget it. ME drive. We'll take diamonds. So never mind. So we're actually going to have to put this on the back burner just for a little bit until we finish the rest of the chapter. But hey, at least we can craft the blast chiller. You know, that's cool. Packed ice. Ice. I miscounted, so I actually cannot. So all we're waiting on to finish the chapter is our infernium. So I think I'll just start crafting this manually, because it's taking a very long time to get the rest. And I want to speed up our progression just a little bit. This is going just a little bit too slow. And voila, the blast chiller. Still not sure what we're going to use this for. In the slightest. Like, it only has 2 pages of recipes, so I don't really understand what we're going to use this for. But it's there, and it's done. So now I just have to collect a bunch of stuff. We're going to need apatite, we're going to need certus, we're going to need... What else do we need? Niter and rose gold to finish off our infernium. Alright, so I was tired of waiting, so I added 4 more crystallizers so I could crystallize more of our crystals at the same time. And with our 2 infernium essence, I'll be able to make the 7 remaining to make the block and finish the chapter out. Actually, that's not true, because that'll let me make an infernium block, but then we need a second one to actually craft the phytogenic insulator. And while I was waiting, I also added more blast furnaces to our ore processing, so we can process more ores at once, because this chest was getting quite clogged, since I only had a single blast furnace. But once I get better power generation, I'm going to change all these to redstone furnaces. So if you ever wanted to see a very basic way to get the auto crafting going with mystical agriculture, you can add hoppers to all of the pieces, and they'll automatically input everything for you. So all you have to do is right click. Now once I have a way to automatically pull the item out of the infusion altar, likely with AE, we'll just replace the whole setup and make it a lot cleaner. But at least this way I just have to right click every time it's done to grab the output, and we can make our first block of infernium. How much are we at? Wait, where's my items at? Three? Huh? Where did my items go? Hello? Oh, that's weird. Oh, I think I was standing here and right-clicking, so it probably dropped it at my feet and was placing it in there. Okay, that scared me. I thought I was going to have to recraft all of those all over again. But now we can make a block of infernium essence. And now we just need one more to make the sky. And we'll be done. What are we missing? For this, I just need a machine frame, which will take some little flux ducts. And then we'll have finished out the chapter. Just one more block of infernium is all I need. And now, finally, after so much time, the second infernium block. And now I can throw it into our crafter and make the phytogenic insulator. And with that, Gems and Dust is completed. So now I should be able to just take this guy, sorry for teasing you like that, and just attach it to our power production. And I'll just put it right here for now because I'm going to want to move it. And does this need water actually? It does need water. So actually let me move you again and put it where we have access to water already, which should be right over here. Can't really reach the pipe. I can replace this one for now, because I'm going to move it later. And throw in our infernium and set this guy to take in water on the left, and he'll start growing. And this is already so much faster than before. That's what, like 20 seconds? I wonder if it says. Well, it says 20,000 RF. Oh, there's different types. So if I do infernium, phytogenic, 10,000 RF, and this takes 20 RF per tick. So it's only like 20 or so seconds, which is pretty good. Put that back in there. And then using thermal, there should be an upgrade. I forget what it's called, but there is an upgrade. Yeah, here it is. Cyclical processing. Takes constantan, silver, signalum. So we should be able to craft it. And as you can see, products may be transferred to the input on process completion. So using that, we're going to take our infernium seeds and push it right back inside so we can continue making infernium. Kind of just keeps looping around forever. So in order to craft that, we're going to need, where was it, this guy? Some signalum gears, silver plates, constantan plates, and that's it, right? Yeah. And a redstone servo. So I should already have constantan and signalum available from when I was crafting all of our crystallizers. So let's take a look. We're going to need 2 constantan plates. So now we can craft this guy. Cyclical processing, throw him into our phytogenic insulator, and it should just work, I'm assuming. So if we do this, it should take the seed and put it back inside. And it does. Perfect. So now we just produce infernium essence on demand. And now we can use that. Instantly grows a crop or sapling. Well, we don't have diamonds yet. Make infernium coal. We can make more infernium seeds. We can also craft upgrades. No, that takes diamonds, so not yet. So until we get diamonds in the next chapter, there's really not too much we can do with that here. But now we can start building up a backlog of infernium, which is going to be pretty useful. As you can see here, infernium is used for a whole bunch of stuff, including a lot of these like water, like the basic seeds. We take a look here at mystical seeds. A lot of the seeds, the very basic ones we're going to start with, all need it. Now, where do we get prosperity shards, though? Straining appetite with an echo mesh. So I believe that's going to come in this chapter. Yes. So with the echo mesh, we're going to get diamond dust and prosperity shards. Can be obtained through the strainer, and to get echo shards, we need blocks of infernium with purified water and a gold mesh, or higher. Which means this guy, which has been making our amethyst dust, is going to get a buddy. So we can start making echo shards as well. Now, this is also going to take quite a while because we have to wait on this, but at least this is way faster than having to process all of these individual pieces and put it together, which is really nice. Let me grab our token. And then, I think this episode has gone on quite long enough. I had to stop the progression of a couple things because, you know, until we get access to every single item, and I'm talking about like diamonds and prosperity shards, we really can't craft everything yet. But so far, we're almost there. The next chapter should cover the remaining resources we need, being diamonds. And with that unlocked, we'll be able to do pretty much everything. Well, actually, no, we don't have access to the nether yet, so I don't have nether quartz, which means I can't build flux crystals either. And that's coming in the chapter after that. So we're not going to do AE just yet, but now that I have access to mystical agriculture, I can start working on making those seeds and accruing even more resources so we can craft stuff even faster. But as always, I'm your host, Hamas28, and I'll see you guys next time.